Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. Ink comparison day. Inks for my fountain pens. Going to take a look at two inks. Well, they're in the blue family, but they're both sapphire inspired. So I've got here Diamine Sapphire Blue, and that's going to go up against Herbin Éclat de Saphir. And I know chances are I've mangled the pronunciation. Two inks, as say, inspired by sapphire. So join me now down on the table. We'll take a look at the ink bottles. We'll look at my swatch cards, chromatography. We'll do a writing sample. Then I'll give you my thoughts on these inks. Welcome down to the table. Here's today's inks. Diamine Sapphire Blue and Herbin Éclat de Saphir. On here it's got no E. I'm terrible. I keep putting an E on the end of it for some reason. Both of these are 30ml bottles, but very different shapes. The Diamine one is a plastic bottle. The Herbin one, that's a glass bottle, fairly heavy bottle. I'm just going to show you these very quickly. We've got different openings as well. That's a bit tough there to take that off. The Herbin one a lot wider, easier to put virtually every pen in. The Diamine one, I do struggle with that sometimes, putting pens in. So let's just pop these caps back on, move these to the side. We're now fetching the swatch cards. So we've got Diamine Sapphire Blue and we've got Herbin Éclat de Saphir. The Diamine one does look slightly darker. And when we're writing with it, we can see here, it looks darker. That's on this colouring card. Be interesting to see what it looks like when we get it onto paper. Both quite nice though. Let's turn them over and we'll look at the chromatography. In terms of chromatography, again, they're both very similar. So we've got a lot of purple and then that goes into a pale blue on both of them. Biggest difference, the Éclat de Saphir, that seems to have a wider pale blue band than what we see on the Diamine Sapphire Blue. So let's move them out of the way. They're always interesting. I don't know what they tell you though. What's really interesting is how does it write? So fetching my notepad of testing. This is Oxford Optic paper, 90 GSM paper, really nice fountain pen friendly. I'm fetching my wooden block, which is where I'll be standing my Sapphire Blue, so that I don't end up spilling it all over the place. My writing tool is my good old Serendipity dip pen. That does fit in the bottle, so we'll give this a good drink and let's do some writing. So we've got a Serendipity dip pen. It's got a broad Yoho nib. The ink, Diamine Sapphire Blue. Beautiful colour this. I don't use it often enough to be honest. The price for this is $5.25. This is Aussie dollars. I priced this up from Cult Pens in the UK. That's for a 30ml bottle and we're out of ink, so I'll just re-dip. This is a problem when you're using a dip pen. You never know how much you've got on it. So for 30ml, which equates to 17 cents per milliliter. So that's not bad value, is it? I'll write a sentence. Very nice. I like this colour. It comes off the nib really, really well. I'm just going to step away and give that pen a clean. When I come back, we'll look at the Éclat de Saphir. Just dropping in to interrupt your regular programming. Would you like to help support the channel? If so, please consider joining as a member. As a member, you'll get early access to my videos. I normally upload them a couple of days before they go out, and as soon as they're uploaded, they'll be released to members. There'll also be a shout out at the end of the videos, and then as we get the members coming in, we'll actually chat among ourselves and work out what other perks, what other things you'd like me to add in. You know, would you like maybe a monthly live chat just for members? All down to us. So please, if you can, consider joining the channel. A link will be in the description down below. I've given the pen a clean. What I do when I'm cleaning the pen is I pull out the nib and feed, and then I run it under cold water. I also clean out the inside there, and then I dry it all off on a kitchen towel. So let's just pop this back together. Let's get this right. There we go. So that's put back together, fetching the ink. So this is the Éclat de Saphir. So the same process as I did for the Sapphire Blue. I dip the pen in. This doesn't dip as fast, so I'm going to just turn it on its side. I scribble off a little bit of the excess, then I come over to write. So we've got here a Serendipity dip pen, which is broad. The ink, Herbin, Éclat de Saphir. The price for this, again priced up from Cult Pens, was $19.68, again Aussie dollars. 30ml bottle, which works out at 65 cents per milliliter. So a lot more expensive. We'll write our sentence. Again, writes really well. Very nice colour. At the moment, it seems to be slightly darker than what I'm seeing with the Sapphire Blue, but let's give it time to dry. Pop this ink away. We'll move this to one side, and I'm going to fetch in my Guerlain leather notebook. This is an A5 notebook, and it's 52 GSM Tomoe River paper. So I've written with both inks with a Jinhao 100. This has got the medium Jinhao nib. So here we've got the Diamine Sapphire Blue. So beautiful colour, looks really well. Don't see much in the way of shading or anything like that. Still quite nice, fairly wet if we look down here at the bottom where I've got my little swipes. Then jumping back in time, because I wrote with this one ages ago, we've got the Jinhao 100 here with Herbin again, Éclat de Saphir. You can see I was calling it J Herbin. It lets me move it down so we can actually see it. So there we are, Éclat de Saphir for J Herbin. Very nice again. Again, looks quite wet when we look at my swipe at the bottom. Now, I know it's hard to do this, so I'm going to try and get a little bit side-by-side comparison there. Let me move this more central there. So on here, we've got on the left, we've got the Éclat de Saphir. On the right, we've got the Sapphire Blue. So on this Tomoe River paper, the Sapphire Blue does appear to come out slightly bluer than we see with the Herbin, which is a little bit more, I want to say a bit more pastel-y, but only a tiny little bit. Let's get this out of the way. Just pop my bits in there so I don't lose them. We'll fetch back that paper. So here we are. This is back with the Oxford paper. The bottom one's still slightly wet. It takes ages to dry. So looking at this, the colour-wise, very, very similar, very little difference. It looks like the Diamine Sapphire Blue, where I'm writing the ink name, is paler, but that's because I was starting to run out of ink. When we look at the line below and compare them, they look very similar. Price-wise, that Diamine ink is so much cheaper, a quarter of the price. I like the bottle on the Herbin. Here's the bottle. I think this looks really nice. I like the fact it's glass, it's got some weight to it. Whereas with the Diamine bottle, let me lay it down like that, then we can actually see it rather than seeing the top. With the Diamine ink, this plastic bottle is very light, and I always worry that I'm going to tip it over, which is why I use this wooden inkwell here, just to stand the bottle in to stop me from having any little accidents. So I'll pop that there. I'm not going to pop the Éclat de Saphir on because that's still white. In fact, no, let's pop them next to each other. There we go. And pull this bottle down. There we go. So, yeah, both the inks, really like them. Enjoy using them. Haven't inked them up often enough. I have been using the Éclat de Saphir a bit more lately, but I really need to start using that sapphire blue as well. Maybe it's time to roll out some more of my blue pens, because I like to match pen and ink colours. So they're my thoughts on Diamine Sapphire Blue and Herbin Éclat de Saphir. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Have you got either of these inks, the Diamine Sapphire Blue or the Herbin Éclat de Saphir? What are your thoughts on them? Do you have a preference between the two? Please drop any comments down below. Let's kickstart that conversation. Please hit the thumbs up button. Every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.